It's getting hard, man. You got to drop like 3 of them hoes just to get 200 views.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that, man. I mean, that's just too much for me.
Mm. Busy day tomorrow and Thursday. How many practices do we have left? 2?
Yeah, the 2 joint practices.
Wow. It's
It's been
been
a long
a
time.
it's been a great training camp for us, bro.
It has. It sure has.
I thought they were
It's
gonna
been
have
fantastic.
camp with the Saints.
Is that a fan thing though? I
You're right.
mean,
I don't
I
think that's
mean,
gonna be to
like,
the public.
I don't know, like, I think these are the only 2 public practices left.
Mm.
Now, I'm pretty sure they're still having, they're still having training camp and all that good stuff. If you're credentialed, you get to be there.
Oh, we're not there yet. Trying to be.
Not there yet.
Um,
Not there yet.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Believe in the Houston Texans. I am one part of this show, Ruben Calvillo, and I am joined by the handsome man, as always, Harley Dugan. We have joint practices tomorrow with the Miami Dolphins. The last practices available to the public. Me and Harley will be there, so make sure you guys are following us on all our socials for the latest Houston Texans news, rumors, and updates. But Harley, I'm not sure if you saw it today. We found out what swarm means.
Yeah.
You want to go ahead and take this one away, or do you want me to find the clip of Pat McAfee?
No. Go find the clips. I don't know it word by word. I did hear it. Actually, I think I do got it.
Let me see. I'm pulling it up right now.
Yeah. But I mean, just to a quick summary, because I tweeted about it already, and I mean, don't you just get excited when you hear Demico talk?
Yeah.
Like, it's just generally refreshing to hear him talk just anything. He could be talking about cereal, and I'm like, dude, I'm hyped. Like, Demico sells me. He's a salesman, and he could sell me anything. He hypes me up. He gets me going. He gets me excited, and it's absolutely fun to finally feel the energy in the building.
So what we're about to show you is a clip from the Pat McAfee show today. Shout out to Harley Dugan. He had it clipped already at the lead_Houston. You guys make sure you're tapped in the Harley. Let's go hear what they had to say about the swarm mentality in Houston.
Friend, and the swarm mentality, it all started with, as we talked about, the culture and the type of guys you want to be around. That swarm mentality is just an acronym for I want to build my team with guys who have a special work ethic and a relentless mindset. And that's where the swarm mentality came in. And then,
special work ethic and relentless mindset.
Hell yeah!
Fuck
that's
yeah,
it,
dude. Yeah. Hey, that's awesome. So you like you like the word swarm. Let's go back to the development of this. Yeah. You like the word swarm, and then you had to think to yourself, what does swarm mean? What does it? What is it? What does it mean to me? And then you start piecing special work ethic and relentless mindset. Boom. Fucking book it.
Send it.
Hey, that's genius. That is very. How'd you get to swarm? And you're still. Is this going to be in every? Is this like the Texans motto now?
That's what it is for right now, right, Will? I think as I build it out, it all starts, like I talked about, with the people you want. And as I start out, that's where we are now. That's what the Texan culture will be about, swarming, right? And it's attacking everything. Of course, swarm is all-encompassing, but to me, it involves teamwork, right? It involves
bro. When Demico talks, I just shut up and listen, man. I believe in this guy.
All together. How are you going to attack a defense or offense? Man, it's those 11 guys out there swarming together on the field. So it's all encompassing for me.
Coach, you got a good one there. I think that's a good one.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they say, like, keep it simple, stupid.
Bingo.
All those things. The coach, there's so much coach stuff. That swarm one. Hey, that's a good one.
Keeper.
That is a good one.
Special work ethic and relentless attitude. Harley, how does it feel hearing our head coach come up with that?
It's to create that off the dome is pretty interesting. It's fun to hear, man. Like I said, you see it in the tweet, and like you just mentioned, anytime Demico talks, we listen. I mean, I think that's just not just us. I think that's just in general. It goes all the way back to when he was drafted here in Houston,
Mm.
and immediately grabbing the locker room. And Seth Payne mentioned it on In the Morning with in 610 with Sean Pendergast. He mentioned Demico came in immediately, and it just felt like he was a captain already.
Mm.
Hence the nickname Captain Cap. So this isn't nothing new. This isn't nothing different. Special work ethic and relentless mindset. Swarm. I mean, sign me up. Where's my helmet? Where's the pads? Where's the brick wall? I'm running through it. Give me another brick wall because I'm running through that one as well. Get me on the field, coach. I'm ready to get on out there. I'm ready to see what this Texans team is all about. That just gets you excited as a Texans fan.
No, it does. And I think there was a clip. It was Fred Warner when, obviously linebacker the 49ers was talking to his, to his huddle, was screaming, "We need to swarm to the ball. We need to swarm to the ball." And there's a funny Bosa brother clip where he just looks and goes, "I couldn't agree more." That type of intensity, I think we are going to see here with the Houston Texans, man. That's why I was so happy that Jimmy Ward signed here. And when we were there on Sunday, man, he was the star of practice, almost picked off CJ Stroud. And I think he is going to be the reason why this defense doesn't let up all year. Jimmy Ward has just been everything advertised, man. And overall, I am excited with this defense, especially after hearing that this swarm has an acronym, right? I was just thinking you swarm to the football as a defensive player. But no, special work ethic and relentless mindset.
Yeah, hey, whatever works, man. Him to create the acronym, cool. Swarm. He said he started. It was a thing that he started in San Francisco. Hey, man, let it come here to Houston. Let it travel here to Houston. We see how great that defense was in San Francisco. Granted, they got a lot of the players already there, but the Houston Texans defense, it's got some notables, and it's got a lot of underrated players that nobody is expecting to splash in the NFL except Houston. We're ready, man. We're ready for this defense to get it going.
It pains me to say this, man, but I think the quarterback competition is open again.
Mm.
On Sunday, or was it yesterday? Cody Stoots, shout out to Cody Stoots. He drops an 11 observations. He put out a tweet, and in regards to who is going to be starting this preseason game against the Dolphins, Demico Ryans did not commit to a quarterback. Now, I said this the day after we beat the Patriots. Like, if Davis Mills puts together another good game, a couple more practices, do we start to see the conversation of it being open back up? The second part of that tweet, Demico Ryan said that these joint practices, the next 2 days, are gonna weigh heavy on who he is going with come Saturday against the Dolphins.
Yeah, I mean, I also do think that some of this is also just coach speak. Just because CJ Stroud's still getting 100% of these reps, he's still getting all of the reps playing with Team One. Like Davis has not, they're not sharing the reps anymore like they used to. And then you look at the unofficial depth chart, CJ Stroud is still listed as QB1. Maybe, and maybe it's going to change during joint practice. Davis Mills, like I famously tweeted out, Undertaker, rising back up, doing his thing. I mean, he looked fantastic when we were out there Sunday. Yeah, he looked fantastic when we were out there Sunday. I'm for real. And CJ Stroud looked average to above average ish. But Davis had some zip on the ball. He was making throws that I remember him making his rookie year and was going, interesting. And obviously inconsistency is always the key word when it comes to Davis Mills. So we don't know what we're going to see tomorrow. We can see the other side of Davis Mills that we just don't really like, and then Thursday he can go back to doing what he was doing Sunday. So if he is still inconsistent and CJ Stroud is at least average to above average,
Mm-hmm.
Stroud should be your QB1 entering the preseason game on Saturday.
I 100% agree. I just think that at one point over the next 2 days, we will get a tweet that says Davis Mills is
Yeah.
running with the ones. And there
Mm.
has already been an overreaction to CJ Stroud's performances, man. The days that the 33rd team, shout out to our boy Jordan, Texan Stars does a great job with them. His
Former
call,
Believe in Texans host.
former Believe in Texans host, he passed the baton to us, and we're doing a great job here, man. 26 episodes deep, but from the 33rd team, his colleague said that it is clear that Davis Mills is ahead in the quarterback competition based off the game. Now, me and Harley don't want to be the guys that say, "Oh, well, we are there at the practices. We actually know what's going on." But man,
But we're there.
we are there. And when we are there, I've seen more good CJ Stroud days than Davis Mills days.
Yeah. Look, Eric Mangini came out talking about that. And he only judged a preseason game.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't judged training camp. He hasn't been to training camp. He hasn't seen training camp. All right. He's only seen highlights. And you can't scout nobody off highlights.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people think, oh, well, I saw Tank Dell's highlights at U of H, and I knew he was going to be fantastic. Well, sure. I mean, Tavon Austin had one of the best highlight mixtapes
Ever.
of all time. And he did not transpire to do anything in the NFL. All right. So, I mean, are we going to go with what Eric Mangini says because, oh, well, he was a former NFL head coach. Yeah, a shitty one at that. I mean, let's completely just keeping it 100 right there. All right. Am I going to trust Eric Mangini's word over a Demico Ryans? Hell no. Demico has more potential. Sure, he's never coached an NFL game before, in the regular season. Mangini has tons of experience. That don't mean jack squat. That don't mean absolutely nothing. His opinion can be whatever it wants to be. At the end of the day, he is slightly overreacting to CJ Stroud and judging him off 4 passes. And that's ridiculous. How can you judge a rookie quarterback off 4 passes? 2 for 4. Interception. I mean, the small sample size. It is so minuscule that is not worthy to even create a judgment out of it. Move on with it. It is what it is. He should have had more time. For me personally, I thought he should have had more reps, but man, get Eric Mangini's idiotic take out of here, man.
No, bro, it's just the one of many, right? We even had that inbounds Panthers guy, was just crapping on CJ Stroud. And look, it was funny, man. It was
good.
Throwing shots at us, everyone hopped on him, said he had a small wiener, and he took it as he took it like a champ and was going at it, bro. It's just crazy that all these bust tweets, comments under CJ Stroud, 4 passes, no offensive line, Laramie Tunsil, Shaq Mason, Titus Howard. The only 3 players who got a 3-year contract from this Houston Texans team in the offseason. So that should tell you how much they believe in this offensive line. And quite honest with you, some of the plays we ran there, I mean, we didn't see that when we were out there at training camp. The Houston Texans are running so much pre-motion, so much play action, and it just looked like a totally different offense. That's why they call it preseason. You can't get too excited. You can't get too negative. But I'm going to be drinking the Kool-Aid if CJ Stroud goes out there and absolutely balls out. I feel like he has to. What do you think?
Man, got me licking my lips over here. See, I'm going to get excited, definitely, of course, if CJ goes out there against what was a solid Dolphins defense last year. Nothing to go crazy about, but nothing to just be a pushover. A solid defense. I wish Jalen Ramsey was there. I think it would have just been so much more helpful for this offense that we know in training camp it's been a work in progress. The defense seems to be the example in training camp. Offense has been a work in progress. Sure, it seems like it's been improving every single day, and that's including your quarterback, CJ Stroud. If he goes out there and has himself a performance in joint practice and then translate it to the field in preseason week 2, the fans are going to go absolutely nuts, and they have every right to be. I said this too many times. It's good to be optimistic about this team. There's a lot of positives about this team, what they did in the offseason, how they carried themselves, what they did in the draft, going forward, putting their cojones on the table and saying, hey, mine's just bigger. It is what it is. And they did all of that. So it's good to be positive about this team. There's nothing wrong with it. All right. I don't get the bashing of a rookie quarterback over 4 passes. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It's just unintelligent football talk, really. I haven't even engaged in it in my comment section. So I've decided, why not? Let me go after a few fans from the opposing teams in our division. So I posted a little clip about Trevor Lawrence throwing an interception, who's supposed to be an elite quarterback throwing an interception just like the rest of the rookie quarterbacks in this division. So, I mean, who's really ass? The rookie quarterback throwing an interception, or Trevor Lawrence, who's got years under his belt and shouldn't be throwing an interception against twos?
We could definitely get into every single bad QB performance this weekend. CJ Stroud also had the least pass attempts out of any other rookie quarterback. It is also at Foxborough. It was also raining. There is too much stuff going on, and CJ Stroud, it's going to be here at Houston, home opener for the preseason. I will be there at the tailgate. I'm not going to the game. I will be at the tailgate, getting absolutely slaughtered. Go to the blue lot. The Nuff Said tailgaters, they do a great job. They have this obviously they call it the shot ski, but it's a freaking ski and 4 slots for shots. And bro, I'm telling you, you get trashed there. I have a story about I had to take Jacob out of there, almost got arrested with the paramedics, man. Shout out to the Nuff Said tailgaters. Going into the joint practices tomorrow, there is going to be 3 fights.
Ooh, in the over-under 3 fights, because the past 2 practices, there has been days back-to-back fights. Now, on the first day, it was on Sunday. Me and Harley were there. It was between Christian Harris and Devin Singletary, of all people. Random. Devin Singletary gets up, throws up his set, and gets breaking up in about 15 seconds. We weren't there yesterday, but we heard that it was the entire offense and the entire defense, and Chase Winovich was the one that jumped over the whole pile to get in the middle to break up the fight. It is clear that they want to hit someone else. And I remember Jimmy Ward getting into it with DeAndre Hopkins here in H-Town. So I am saying 3 fights is where I think it is going to happen, but I'm definitely smashing the over. Yeah, so we'll go 2.5 fights over under. You're going 3, which is over. Ah, man. 2 joint practices. You just had back-to-back days. Today being a day off. So the last 2 days have been fights or scuffles, whatever you want to call it. Little tic-tac stuff, Hand
checking.
I think immediately 2 fights are immediately in the secondary and the wide receiver group. And I'm talking the Texans secondary and the Dolphins wide receiving group. I really do believe, because the Texans secondary has been the talk around training camp.
Yes.
It has been the highlight, whether it's Steven Nelson, whether it's Derek Stingley, not so much Tavier Thomas against Xavier Hutchinson on that one-on-one. He got his ass handed to him. But overall, Tavier has looked really good in training camp. Desmond King has been solid. Jimmy Ward, Jalen Petrie. So, Shaq Griffin as well. And he's gotten his ass chewed a little bit too. But overall, your secondary has been the highlight. And you're going up against Tyreek Hill and the Jalen Water. Jalen Water's from Houston, man. So he's going to have some fans there rooting for him as well.
And Tyreek talks that shit.
Tyreek does talk that noise, and him and Eli Apple are now teammates. Eli Apple's a big time trash talker too.
I'm gonna
Now,
do
when I
Eli
get into
Apple
the
dirty. I could,
when
I could, I could hit a double move on Eli Apple.
Eli Apple, man, I'd love to get into an argument with Eli Apple. He just seems like a guy that could talk some good trash talk.
Mm.
And sure, he might not back it up, but he looks like a good trash talker. So with that being said, Eli Apple now being on the opposite side, I definitely believe, you're gonna hit that over, man. I do. I
Oh,
think you're getting at least 3 or 4 fights. I really do believe it. Eli Apple's getting into someone's mind. Eli
CJ.
Apple for
Him and
sure.
CJ gonna go at it.
CJ's a pretty solid trash talker, and
Jalen
so
Petrie.
Petrie and Jimmy Ward are some bad trash, really, really loud trash talkers. All right, and if we saw Jimmy Ward obliterate Dalton Schultz's head,
Just murdered him.
and I loved it. And guess who else loved it? You know who loves these fights? Our head coach Demico
Yes,
Ryans.
sir.
Because quote unquote, they asked him about the scuffles,
Mm-hmm.
and he said, "Finally." And that just excited me. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
really expect the answer. I didn't really know what to expect, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think of Gary Kubiak, and I know Kubiak wasn't that kind of guy.
Okay.
And that's who I draw a lot from when I talk to Demico Ryans is Gary Kubiak, because he was coached here under him in Houston, and a lot of this offensive schemes from Kubiak and the way he coaches, it feels a lot like Kubiak at times, but obviously with a lot more energy.
Mm-hmm.
Him saying finally went, in my mind, I was like, oh, okay.
I got excited.
Okay. Yeah, man. I'm like, oh, he wants them to get excited.
He gave them the
wants
go ahead.
Yes. Like he's waving that white flag. Come on through. Get on down here. Come on, man. Let's get it on. Let's get a helmet on a helmet. Let's get pads on pads. Let's hear them pads click in practice. Let me hear it. All right. Let me see you get pissed. He wants to see that energy. He wants to see the fans get excited and the players get excited because what is it, man? There's no energy vampires, right? He wants that swarm mentality. He wants y'all to be a bunch of dogs out there, man. Like that's what he wants. He wants it. He wants to see it on the field every Sunday. Come on, man. I'm excited about it. That got me more hyped than a lot of things, man.
I was expecting we always try to be professional.
Yep.
We don't condone that. You would have thought he would have had him doing sprints out there. But for the fact that he said finally and did it to where, like, if you're not trying hard, if you're not going at it, right, it shows me you're not going at 100%. And Harley, me and you, we used to play against each other. We used to shit talk each other so much. But what happened after? We clapped hands, gave each other hugs, said good game, and goes on to the next. That's why I am thinking it's going to be over 3 fights, man. This Houston Texans team, I think they're going to go into this practice and are going to have a chip on their shoulder. If I'm Houston, I'm looking at Miami. I'm like, oh, you are maybe on the verge of playoff contention, right? Doing some damaging stuff. Let me punch you in the mouth right before the regular season and let you know that the Houston Texans are for real. And I fully expect Ward and Petrie to get into fights. I would be mad if they don't. Do you think they put the Dolphins on the fan side or do you think they'd have them on the other side?
Oh, man, that's interesting.
Because I would have thought the way they run training
practice.
camp that the offense is on the other side. And, we get a clear view. But 2 teams, I'm thinking they're gonna have to put the Dolphins by the fans, and then you don't want to do that when I'm in Harley there, bro. We are gonna get kicked out for trash talking. We are gonna be the 4th and 5th fight, bro. Let those millionaires hit us. I am falling down. I'm having all types of aneurysms and
yeah, man. And shoot, man, man. See, I'm Hispanic, but then I have my white side as well. So hey, man, let's get it on, man. I'd love to see me if they got the defense on our side, then that means the offense for the Dolphins should be on our side, right? So we are gonna get a first-hand look at that secondary wide receivers for firsthand look at it, that would
Mhm.
be ultra ever. It's so exciting. It's gonna get real. It's gonna get real test. One-on-ones usually
It's the
are the
start of it.
yeah, and then that just brews into the matchups, into when you got your offense versus your defense, and whatever brews on continues to brew on. But Texans Dolphins, man,
No, I'm excited.
I'm stupid excited. I can't wait for this.
Blue Boy asked about Adam Humphries. Yes, we signed him a couple of days ago. He made a play on
Yeah,
Sunday wearing number 27. Mills
yeah.
Millie found him streaking across the field. It would have been a first down, 20, 25 yards. Adam Humphries is interesting. Wonder what he brings to this offense. And is he your fourth, fifth, sixth receiver?
I don't know, because Adam Humphries, that's a notable name.
Yeah.
It's not like the guy they waived immediately, that Victor
Oh,
Bolden.
shout out to
Um,
him, man.
my goodness, what
That
was your
sucks.
favorite Victor Bolden memory?
His tweet where he said blessed.
Goodness gracious, man, he said blessed when he got signed, and a
Is
day
that
later he gets
worse
waived.
than getting the happy birthday post and then
No,
getting cut?
no, that's worse. The Packers are they're come on, man. That's some crazy demonic evil shit they did to that poor man. Happy birthday, bud. Here's your cake. Why does it say I'm cut? It's
Bro,
just ridiculous, man. That was bad, man. They didn't do him right. Humphreys, I don't know, man. Humphreys, again, a notable name. He's been around, known from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was with the Titans as well, I believe. Yeah, and
mhm.
so I mean, we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see if he makes it or not. Very late into training camp, so that's one thing I look at. If he's got to learn the offense, he's got to learn how to do things. If he makes plays like he did Sunday, well, then that's going to be a little bit easier.
No, 100% agree. What are you expecting tomorrow from let me see, from CJ Stroud, because first time going against a defense that is not the Houston Texans, and you are going, against a good coaching staff at Miami. I wonder what CJ Stroud is, right? Obviously, you want him to go out there and sling it all over the field to let him know that I am QB1, but I think we might see CJ Stroud struggle in the beginning of practice, getting used to, the different players, the different secondary and all that. But once he gets in a rhythm, I think it's just going to be CJ Stroud's day.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that the moniker for him in all of training camp? He's started off slow, and then he's just gradually improved every single time. So, your observation there would prove to be exactly what CJ Stroud has done. So yeah, I could see him slow start and then gradually get better as the day grows. I don't
Mm,
mind that no whatsoever. Sure, I'd love to see CJ Stroud just on top of it from the get go and just absolutely not dominate. I mean, yeah, I'd like to see that, but if
mm.
him to go out there and have a good day, I would like to see that. I want him as my QB1. I see no point in Davis Mills starting for me week 1 against the Ravens. I've said that too many times. There's just no point of it for me. I know what he is. He is what he is. He's a backup quarterback and a solid one at that. And there's nothing wrong with it. But CJ, I need him to go out there, have a good game,
Mm.
have himself a good day of practice. I mean, and go out there, sling that rock, do your thing. This Texans team's going to run the ball a lot too. I like to see what it's going to look like with CJ behind the LT, the Kenyon Green, the
Mm.
Juice Scruggs, the Shaq Mason. And I know we don't have Titus Howard, but George Fant should occupy that right tackle position. I have no problem with Fant. I know a lot of fans were a little overreactive about him.
He was thrown in the fire, man.
I mean, he's there with a bunch of guys that Austin Deculus was absolute garbage. Juice Scruggs did well. Kenyon Green did well. I don't know who the right guard was. I can't remember for that
Mm.
preseason game, but he was just getting torched as well. So the poor right side was just CJ Stroud immediately hiked, and immediately there was someone in his lap. So I could see why they only gave him 4 passes. I could see how they could justify that to me. But, you're going to have an offensive line with C.J. Stroud. You're going to have his receivers. You're going to have a Dolphins defense, again, solid. I want to see what he does. I hope he does well, and I think he does do well.
How important are these next 2 practices for him?
Extremely. Because the importance of him to improve against, like you said, this was an on-the-verge playoff team. This was a team that almost was a shoo-in for the playoffs at one point last year. If Tua doesn't go down with some injuries and some other, just unlucky games for the Dolphins, some close ones at the end. So I like, me. I'm a big Mike McDaniels fan. I really wanted him as my head coach just a year. Was it a year? 2 years ago? Oh, man. 2 years ago. Because Salah was 3 years ago, and then I wanted McDaniels. I wanted everyone from the 49ers. And we finally got one. And I'm stupid excited. Yeah, the best one, right? Stupid excited about getting Demico in here, and I hope CJ has a good game. I hope these Texans show out, man. I need them to prove themselves a little bit against these Dolphins.
Macho Sport Flex, follow them on TikTok. They just hit 1,100. They do a great job doing all types of highlights. Thoughts on Kenyon Green being a bust? No, he looked very solid in the preseason game. However, he will be going against Christian Wilkins these next 2 practices. And if memory serves me well, Kenyon Green was getting eaten up by De'Aaron Payne, Christian Wilkins. Went through a series where he went against some of the best defensive tackles, DeForest Buckner. These next 2 practices, I am going to be watching not only Kenyon Green, but Juice Scruggs as well. Juice Scruggs looked very well in that preseason game. The communication in the offensive line was there. I really need to see how this O-line handles this Dolphins front 7.
Yeah, I mean, you can get caught up in the recency bias of Tyler Linderbaum and Zion Johnson, who both guys were fantastic. Really, really good.
Hindsight, would you take Linderbaum?
I actually wanted Linderbaum. That was someone that I was really going for. I really wouldn't have minded, but really at the time, and I'm trying to think back, this is when we got Stingley and Kenyon Green. I hated that they traded down. I really wanted to get Jordan Davis because he was available. It was either him or Kyle Hamilton for me. I really loved Kyle Hamilton.
Jameson Williams was there.
J-Mo was there. So, that was interesting. But hey, you traded down. You got Kenyon Green, and he looked really good in the preseason game. So I still think there's nothing wrong with Kenyon Green. And what's going to help him so much is this offensive line, this offensive scheme is going to help him up so much, man. I mean, we talk about the Mike Brizels and the Wade Smiths. These guys weren't anything spectacular coming to the Texans team with Kubiak, and they turned into Pro Bowlers. So, I mean, come on. Kenyon Green in this scheme, I'm going to give him some time before I, ever label him that 4-letter word.
Yeah, no, I was encouraged by his performance on Thursday. And in training camp, I mean, one-on-ones, right? It's easy to stand out when you get beat. But on the 11-on-11s, Kenyon Green has held his own. Roman, you ask, who's Tank Dell? Who's taking Tank Dell in their fantasy? Dude, which round are you going to draft them in?
Definitely. So realistically, you're looking at a later round for Tank Dell. You are, as of right now. It depends. So we're talking to Texans fans. So I would probably say, yeah, they're going to be drafting Tank Dell high. Now if you're in an NFL group, we're an abundance of football fans, fantasy, then I would look at him a little bit later. I think he could get scooped up later in the rounds without nobody knowing. But if he has another performance like he did in this preseason game, his stock's going to continue to go up. 5 catch, 65 yards, and a circus grab touchdown. I mean, if he does anything like that again against the Dolphins, I need to see him against Xavier Howard.
Mm.
Oof. I can't wait to see it. I'm definitely taking him in fantasy just because he has so much electricity attached to him. But, I think you can get him cheap in a football sports fantasy chat instead of, a Texans one. He's going to go a lot higher.
And me and Harley, we are going to be doing a fantasy football league. We have about 4 slots in. So if you guys want to be in that, it will also be a live draft party here in my humble abode. So we're going to have to, have some NDAs here. Some of you guys will not walk out of this place standing, as our boy Cody Johnson. But also tomorrow, what I am looking for is these cornerbacks. You mentioned it, right? Derek Stingley, Jalen Peach, Jimmy Ward, Steven Nelson against Tyreek, Jalen Waddle, and Tua Tagovailoa. Also, the genius Mike McDaniels. I don't expect them to be locked down, right? Because this defense, although it has been the star of the show, it's been more of a bend, don't break. But they have made some plays.
Mm-hmm.
The real test would be going at these Miami Dolphins, and with the fire that we are on right now in terms of we want to fight everybody. I think this secondary has a lot to prove, and they know that themselves.
Yeah, I mean, that's been, to me, again, that's been the highlight of all of training camp is the secondary. DJ Bieniemy just cannot stop talking about him, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's good to finally – the secondary didn't struggle that much last year. Again, they weren't tested a lot because, our run defense was absolutely abysmal. But, it's something to say that the secondary was, I believe, 21st against in defense last year. So now with an improved secondary, second-year Derek Stingley, grown, bigger, leaner, just as fast, just as athletic. Steven Nelson – playing with that chip on his shoulder, getting that $2 extra million, being happy. He feels comfortable. He's happy right now, and he looks good. And then you got
so many people wanting him cut.
Hey, man. Hey, guilty as charged. I didn't say about cut, but I'm thinking I thought that Shaq Griffin might, make him lose that job potentially. Hey, I'll eat crow. I enjoy that Steven Nelson has turned into a really good second cornerback for this Texans team. And it just adds to the depth. When you got Tavier Thomas, Desmond King, Shaq Griffin, a little bit of Jacoby Francis sprinkled in there, Jalen Petrie, Jimmy Ward. So it's good to have a deep secondary because in the modern NFL, in today's era, it's all about passing. You cannot have enough cornerbacks. And I have no problem with it whatsoever. They could go grab another one if they feel like it. I have no problem. Get as many as you can.
Just watch the interview of Coach Meek on the Paul McAfee show. Makes me want to run through a raw from. Yeah, we saw that, clip early on in the beginning of this podcast. And make sure you guys check out our Believe in Texans podcast. Just type in capital BLEAV and then in Texans in the Spotify search bar. 25 episodes deep, and we will be with you through the rest of the season. No, I mean, Steven Nelson, I think, bro, I've said he's looked like the best cornerback in camp. He's just been lights out. I haven't really seen him get beat yet. And that's why it's good to go against a team of Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. These aren't just scrubs at wide receivers. Tyreek Hill had 1,700 yards last year, and I think Waddle had about 1,000, 1,100. Like, these guys can move the football. So this Houston Texans defense, I'm looking at these two practices and I'm thinking, man, this is a huge test for ourselves, right? And it's so crazy, Harley, bro. Like, you don't really think a lot goes into training camp, but this training camp right here, I feel like the Houston Texans are starting something. I feel like they're starting to get back to relevancy. That's why even though we haven't played a meaningful down of football, I feel like I'm halfway middle of the season, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's already going fast. Like, we were waiting for OTAs and training camp. Training camp for the public's already about to be over.
Yep.
And you blink again, week one is just around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
You blink again, you're halfway through the season. So enjoy it while you can, Texans fans. Enjoy it, all football fans. Enjoy it right now, man, because it's NFL. This is why we love the sport so much, because there's so little, and we want to see it. We want to see it so much. So yeah, man, I'm excited. It's a great time to be a Houston Texan fan. It's great to be alive again, to feel relevant again in the NFL. The last 2 years have been disgusting. It's great, man. It's good to feel that energy back in H-Town.
Have you noticed Brandon Hill at all? Because I could be honest, I haven't.
No, I have not. I believe he had got some sort of small injury and where he didn't practice for a few days, but he wears 36. I don't really see a lot of 36. I see a lot of Eric. I see a lot of Eric Murray and MJ Stewart, really.
This safety group is deep. You got Jalen Petrie, Jimmy Ward, then Eric Murray, then MJ Stewart. Hey, and shout out to MJ Stewart and Eric Murray. Both of them have made some type of play throughout this preseason and training camp. I think MJ Stewart had a pick six not too long ago. And it's just competitiveness all around this team, man. And it should get everyone excited, for the open training camp practice tomorrow. So if you guys are going to be there, me and Hardy will be there as well. Hardy is going to get there around 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to try to get there around 5:45, 6, man. But let us know if you guys are going to be there, man, because Harley, I feel like we've been on top of training camp. The most, do I say watched? I could say watched, right?
Yeah.
Are we there? Are we there yet? Like, can we, can we not be humble for a second and be like, we are fucking killing it?
No, man. Hit that CJ Stroud quote with our flowers, man. Give us our flowers.
We're going to keep it off for you guys all the way from preseason week 2 to week 18, guys. As we come to an end of this podcast, because we have to get ready for tomorrow's joint practices with the Miami Dolphins. The last 2 open practices to the public. So if you haven't gone yet, find someone who has tickets. Man, I'm going to have to take a break after Thursday, brother. But Harley, let them know where they can find you.
You can find me at @TheLead_HOU, whether it's social media or YouTube. I drop all Texans content as much as I can. Astros, Rockets as well. Apparently, Bregman and Tucker just did something. I have to check it out in just a minute. But with that being said, if anybody is interested in going to the joint practice Thursday, I have 2 tickets for anybody that wants to go Thursday. Miami Dolphins, Houston Texans. Get a little taste of joint practice. While you're there, buy us a beer, buy us something. We have no problem. We love y'all. We love everybody. We talk to everyone. Screw the Braves. They suck. Get them out of here. I don't care. Sure, Soler beat me in the World Series. I do not care. Give me that rematch. Run it back. Run it back. Give me a healthy Houston Astros team against them Braves, and we got a different story. With that being said, the Texans, again, 2 training camp tickets. You got to be subscribed to the lead. You got to come through and just enjoy the joint training camp, man. We love it. We love seeing y'all. We love meeting y'all. Lumineer, shout out to you. Shout out to Christopher and a few other people. I can't remember all y'all's names, but we do appreciate getting the pictures. All respect to you. We get you we love getting all the pictures and talking to y'all and just, chopping up some Texans talk, man. Ain't nothing wrong with it. We absolutely love y'all.
Michael says he is at work watching. Shout out to guys wherever you Rangers, Texas Rangers. Who is this guy? Looks
like he's gonna be blocked off the channel now.
He's gonna have to be blocked. The Rangers? How dare you? The Rangers, this is personal. This is a personal beef when they didn't allow us to use their stadium when Houston got hit with Harvey. Fuck the Rangers.
I can't say there's any personal beef when you've been kicking their ass all so long. There ain't no competition. They finally want to come through. All right, cool. Let's see how long this lasts. Get me in the playoffs. Get me in the playoffs. We'll be in the playoffs. We might not win the division. I have no problem. I don't care about a division. I don't care about a silver boot. Get me in the playoffs. And then we'll start talking because that light switch turns on and it stays on because the AL runs through Houston and you know it. We're better than you and you know it. Come on now.
H-Town till we drown. Before we go, Michael Patterson asks, how's Jared Patterson? He's done okay. Okay,
Not a lot of context there.
Yeah.
So
Just as that's as good as we could give. He's been okay. We haven't highlighted him, right? So
exactly.
That's good. You can find me on YouTube. Just type in 713 Houston Sportcast in the search bar. Trying to hit 8K as soon as the season starts. Guys, thank y'all so much for being with us. 59 people deep. Let us know how you feel about the joint practice tomorrow. As always, go Houston Texans. And you guys know I'm going to say it. Y'all have a